All right. First Friends Best Practices. As you can see, here's our mission statement. It was our mission statement before COVID, and it remains our mission statement. So if you want to read that with me, it says the mission of First Friends is to love preschoolers and their families into a closer relationship with Jesus. And we strive to provide a safe and secure environment where every child learns from the Bible through Bible conversations, singing, centers, and group time. And to this end, we will implement the following procedures as we regather together. So we want to let you know how the facility has been prepared. First, let me mention that DTK, our facility people, have done a tremendous job there, and they continue to do a tremendous job. But we want to let you know of a couple of steps that have happened before we even re-entered. And the first one, as you see, the whole area and our church has been treated with a microbial disinfectant. And that lasts up to 90 days. It says 60 there, but that's because we retreat it early. And so that has been spread on everything. And that is another layer of disinfectant. We've gone in personally and cleaned out cabinets so that the only thing in those cabinets that our teachers will be using will be things that can be disinfected. The rugs have been removed to remove that element. All areas have been cleaned and disinfected with a new product. It's kind of a funny name, but it's called Nuquat, and it's a hospital grade disinfectant, and it does kill COVID and many other germs as well. So we're real pleased to have that. All the restrooms will be cleaned before and during programming, those in the classroom and those outside. So we wanted to let you know that as well. As you can see, we have new smocks. All of our leaders will be wearing these as an extra layer of protection. And so prior to entering the suite, everyone will have a temperature check. We'll have a nurse there, and she'll do a visual inspection, and she'll point to some questions and just ask, are all these questions up to date? Those questions that you're asked when you go to the doctor or any other place. The staff and leaders have all been trained, and we have definitely upped our game, which was already quite good, I might say, but in terms of hygiene. And we are washing our hands is the biggest thing, frequently. You'll hear a little song on how we do that later. The staff, as I mentioned, and the teachers will be wearing these smocks. We'll be wearing shoe covers, which we already do, but we're going to be a little stricter about that. No one will go outside the room with the shoe covers on, and those will be replaced if they do have to go outside the room. We will be wearing gloves, 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 gloves. So, and those will be changed very frequently during all the processes in the morning. Safety protocols for toys and books and all those kind of things. Don't worry, we are going to have plenty of toys and plenty of fun. But we're using toys that can be easily disinfected, and we will be doing that all throughout the morning. We have a certain, as you'll hear about a little bit later, a certain protocol that we're going to do for that as well. Children won't share toys. We won't, in terms, I know we do teach to share, but at this time, anytime a child uses a toy, we're going to wash it and clean it. And they'll have their own personal supplies when we're doing artwork with the older children. But we're going to be very careful with those toys and books. All those things can be disinfected with Nuquat. We'll definitely use our curriculum, and we'll use some of the games and things from the curriculum, but we'll disinfect those as well. Cleaning procedures. If you were here last week, you may have observed, but if you weren't, that's okay. We are cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. You see our little bottle of Nuquat, and so we're cleaning the preschool desk, screening tables, the kiosks. Everything will be cleaned just very routinely throughout the morning. The half door where the sign-in sheet is and the pens and all those type of things will be cleaned. The classroom restrooms as well as the family restrooms will be cleaned and disinfected. Every time that a child goes into a classroom restroom, we have a procedure for cleaning that. And we have another product that DTK has provided for us. It's called Virex, and all the rooms will be misted. So when you go in a room, there's a third layer of disinfectant. They'll mist the room with this Virex, kind of like Lysol, but I'm been told much better. And then when they leave the room for the day, it will be misted. Just another added protection. And then another protocol that we're going to implement, we won't be using the indoor playgrounds yet. We will get back there, so don't worry. They love the indoor playgrounds. And we won't be using the bye-bye buggies at this time. So we'll be staying in the room, having fun, singing songs, having Bible conversations, and teaching our children about Jesus. So it's going to look a little different, but it's going to be a blast.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you guys about registration. So to make sure that we have adequate teachers in the space, preschoolers must pre-register for each week for LBS, and this registration link will be sent out to you via the Sunday Family emails, and also available on our website as well as Facebook and Instagram. And registration will be open at noon on Sundays and will go through noon on Thursdays each week. And registration helps limit, preschoolers will be limited on the number of children and teachers allowed in each classroom to aid in the social distancing protocols. And preschoolers who are not pre-registered will be admitted by a case-by-case basis due to room capacity. And after one grace period, preschoolers who have not pre-registered will not be admitted. So it's very important that you remember to pre-register each week. And so programming will be provided for our 3s through Ks, 1 hour programming beginning September 13th, and our 2s and infants through, our infants through 2s are already, we already have programming for them. And so when you register, you will see this page at the end of your registration, and the parent's name that you put on this page will be the primary parent, and that is the only parent tag that will print, and that will be the only parent that may enter the preschool suite for drop-off and pickup. And you might be wondering why we're asking you to register, and that is to increase social distancing in our classrooms. Also, a second reason is we have limited number of volunteers who are able to return, and so we need just to continue to provide your child with the safest environment. We have to limit those numbers, and it also helps us to prepare to connect and have those Bible conversations and those one-on-one conversations with your child by limiting the number of kiddos that are in each room. And so you will want to remember to register early because there are a limited amount of spots in each room. So beginning September 13th, in the morning, this is the number of each age group that we will have space for each hour. So each hour in the morning, there will only be space for 14 infants, 8 crawlers, 28 walkers and 1-year-olds, 18 2-year-olds, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, and 20 kindergartners. And in our evening LBS hours, we'll only have space for 8 infants, 8 crawlers, 7 walkers / 1-year-olds, 10 2-year-olds, 10 3-year-olds, and 13 4s and Ks. So check-in, drop-off, and pickup is going to look a little bit different, but we But before we talk about that, let's define what 1 hour programming is for you guys. So 1 hour programming refers to one of the 2 hour programmings scheduled each Sunday. So we have our Life Bible Study hour and congregational worship hour. And before pre-COVID, your children were encouraged and allowed to stay both hours in the preschool area. But with our social distancing limitations, children's ages 3 through K will only be able to attend 1 hour. So either the 9:15, the 10:45, or the 6:30 Life Bible Study hour. At the end of those hours, you will pick up your child and they will get to attend family worship with you. And so now we'll talk about our check-in, drop-off, and pickup procedures. So our new check-in procedure looks a lot like it did before. You will still check in at the kiosks and receive your label once you have pre-registered. And so that will print off your child's label with the room number that they will go to, as well as that designated parent sticker. So whichever parent you put on that last page of registration, that will be the parent's tag whose is printed. And we will only have certain kiosks open for social distancing, and the kiosks upstairs will not be turned on at this time. And so the second part of check-in is that all parents and children will enter through the first floor main entry, and you will be screened. So you will get your temperatures taken, both parent and child, and you will be asked if any of your screening questions have changed, and then the nurse will just look to see any visual, if any visual symptoms of sickness are there. And then once you are screened, you will be free to enter the preschool suite. And so only one parent will be able to accompany child into the preschool suite, and everybody will enter through the main downstairs entrance for drop-off. And when you come to pick up, you may re-enter from the upstairs doors if you have an upstairs, if your child's classroom is upstairs, or you may re-enter from the downstairs doors if you have a child on the first floor. And we are also asking that every parent that accompanies a child into the suite wears a mask, but we are not requiring masks for children in our ministry. And we are also requiring that both parents and children have their name tags on before they enter the suite, just like we always have. And so fourth step of the morning is to drop off. And so you will go to your child's room just like always, and you will sign them in, and there will be a clean pin for you. And once you use that pin, the employee teacher in that room will put it in a dirty bucket, and there will be a clean pin for the next person, and they will continually clean that area. And so it will be clean for you, and it's just like always. And then the fifth step is that after dropping off your child, you will exit on whatever floor your child's classroom is on. So if your child is on the first floor, you will exit through the main entry doors. And if your child is on the second floor, we ask that you exit through the second floor entry doors. And there will be signage and all that sort of stuff for you to follow. And then picking up your child, we ask that you pick up immediately after programming, and that you observe social distance at all times within the suite and while waiting in either the screening lines or the pickup lines. And we also ask that you do not linger in the hallways or group together, but just pick up your child and immediately move to the nearest exit to their classroom. And then some things to consider is that you need to just understand that the check-in and drop-off system will take a little bit longer than usual. We are encouraging social distancing at all of our steps, and that while children are in preschool programming, we ask that parents remain in the church building, and that you have a cell phone with you at all times in case of emergency, that you are reachable, and that you respond to texts or calls immediately if you get those from the preschool ministry. And then also follow the drop-off and pickup times carefully. And then what can I bring? So there are some limitations now. Approved items allowed in the preschool suite. No other items other than a pacifier in a bottle are allowed in the preschool suite. Other items such as diapers, wipes, sippy cups, extra clothes will be provided by the preschool ministry. Infants are allowed one bottle and one pacifier that will be placed in a labeled Ziploc bag as you enter the preschool area, and EpiPens must be placed in a Ziploc bag and turned into the front, labeled and turned into the front desk. And parents are responsible for putting that EpiPen bracelet on a child before they enter the preschool classroom. And then items that we are not allowing in the preschool area or classrooms at this time are strollers and car seats. Just to continue to keep that area clean, we're asking that. And diaper bags and backpacks are not allowed in the classroom. So you are able to bring those in to carry in the bottles and pacifiers, but we do ask that you take those back out with you, and they're not going to be allowed to be left in your child's classroom.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm going to share just a little bit about our updated classroom procedures. So the first thing that we're going to do a little bit differently is our room staffing plan. So our rooms are still going to have the employed teachers and directors and teachers and heart-to-heart volunteers that you love and your kids love. But to kind of help us in this season, we're dividing our leaders into 2 teams. So we'll have one set serving on the 1st and 3rd Sunday and one serving on the 2nd and 4th Sundays. And we're asking them to serve both hours just to cut down on the number of adults in a room at a time. So as many as are able to do that, we'll be doing that. And that will be a big help. And so again, we're doing this to maintain consistency for the children and who they get to see when they come each week, but also minimizing the number of different adults in a room, just again, to kind of cut down on just having a lot of people there at once. And we're also asking our leaders, just like y'all, to social distance when they're with us. So not to go room to room, not to congregate in the hallways, and to stay on the floor where they're serving. So that's our new plan for that. Melinda mentioned this, but we're going to be hand washing a ton. We found that this is, or we've learned from just watching what's going on in our country, this is a great way to keep the germs at bay. So we'll be practicing frequent hand washing for our leaders and our children. I'll talk about this in a minute, but even our little infants, we've got a procedure for them to wash their hands. And we ask you guys, we're sure you're doing this, but just practice proper hand washing techniques at home with your children, because that will help us to just kind of reinforce that when they're here. And so we'll use, sanitizer in some situations, but for the most part, we're just going to wash hands a whole lot. So the way we're going to do that is we'll wet hands with running water and apply soap for children and for our leaders. Scrub hands for at least 20 seconds. The CDC says sing happy birthday twice. We've timed it, and we found that singing the first verse and chorus of Jesus Loves Me is also 20 seconds. And we want to maximize every moment in the classroom to teach your kiddos about Jesus and show them God's love. And so we'll be singing this with them as they're washing their hands, just to have another Bible moment, another teaching moment with them. But then scrubbing their hands together, scrubbing the backs of hands, between fingers, under nails, and then rinsing hands well under running water. And all of our classrooms have sinks in the room, as well as sinks in the adjacent bathrooms. So we have lots of access to good running water. So this is the interactive part of our time together. So everyone take your hands, lift them up, and we're going to practice hand washing together. So we're going to scrub palm to palm, and then scrub the backs of your hands, and then scrub palm to palm with your fingers interlaced. And then scrub with your fingers interlocked so you get the tops of those fingers and nails. And then scrub your thumbs. And then scrub your fingernails. And then scrub your wrists. So that is our process for hand washing for kiddos and for leaders. And this is a poster we have in all of our classrooms right next to the sink to remind our teachers that this is the way we're washing hands. So if you remember that, we'd love for you to practice that with your kiddos at home. For our infants who obviously can't do that, we've got a 3-towel method. So our leaders will put your sweet infant or sweet crawler in a swing or in one of our high chairs. And we'll use one damp paper towel with soap to wash their hands, to wipe off their hands, and then another damp paper towel without soap to rinse off the soap, and then a clean, dry paper towel to dry their hands. So that's the process for washing baby and crawler hands. So we'll be doing that before we feed them their bottles, after we change their diapers, things like that. And again, even if we've got little toddlers who are maybe can't quite reach the sink, we'll use that method for them too. I mentioned we will use hand sanitizer, but we'll watch your kiddos to make sure they're not licking or eating that, and that's why we're going to stick with soap and water whenever we can. And again, we've got those posters, this one, the infant technique, as well as the one we just showed you in the classrooms. So snacks. Snacks is a much loved part of the preschool ministry, but right now it's going to be a little bit different. So we will be serving saltines and water for children in our 1- and 2-year-old rooms, because those kiddos are able to stay both hours, and that's a long time without a snack. So they will have those, but our teachers know to, they'll be wearing gloves, as they always do when they serve those. As soon as your kiddo finishes their water cup, we'll throw away those little paper cups. We have sippy cups. Kristen mentioned about different things that you can bring in. We'll have sippy cups available for those who need them. We'll wash children's hands before, all those sorts of things. For ages 3 and up, because they have 1-hour programming, so they won't be staying both hours, we will not have snacks for them. So we encourage you guys to set up your kids for success. So make sure you feed them before they come. Maybe give them a snack on the way to church if your commute is a little longer. And maybe have a snack in your bag ready to give them afterwards, just to help them have a successful morning. But yeah, again, they won't have a snack in the classroom. So for infants and crawlers, so most of these policies are not new, but our leaders will wear gloves while feeding a bottle to your infants or crawlers. All babies will be received with a clean blanket, a burp cloth, and a bib for each baby. And then leaders will wear a clean set of shoe covers at all times in the classroom. So if a leader has to step out to, use the restroom or something like that, when she comes back in, she'll put on a new set of shoe covers. So those covers will never leave the classroom. And then in the classroom, we're still super excited to teach your kiddos and have fun with them, just besides washing their hands the whole time. So we're going to do a lot of fun things. Everything we do will stay in the classroom though. So we're not going to send home activity sheets. We're not going to send home some of the art projects and things like that they make, again, just to cut down on just germs and things like that leaving the classrooms. But they will absolutely be doing those things. So we've always said preschool is about the process. So they'll be having a lot of fun painting and making group projects and things like that that'll stay in the classroom. We'll encourage social distancing whenever possible, as much as is possible to do with little ones. So we'll try to encourage 1 child at an easel at a time, 2 kiddos at a table, 2 kiddos at each center, as best as we can. Y'all know toddlers and preschoolers don't social distance, and we, understand that it's healthy for them to play with their friends, but as much as we can, we're going to be trying to limit that. And then also we will disinfect supplies, markers, and toys between programming hours and as often as we can during the programming hour itself. And we've set aside all of the non-disinfectable items, so we won't play with Play-Doh, we won't use crayons, we won't use things that are hard to disinfect during this time. And then we will, absolutely continue to teach, as Melinda mentioned. So we still have our same curriculum. It's our Lifeway Bible Studies for Life curriculum for our 1 through kindergarten classes. So they're having the same stories that you're getting emailed about on Thursdays. They'll be having those stories in the classrooms. They'll be having the teaching picture and activities and all that kind of stuff. And then we have a curriculum for infants and crawlers that we've used forever, that we'll continue using as well. We mentioned the supplies will be disinfected, toys, things like that, and returned to their cabinets. All the classes will have large sheets of butcher paper, which is a fun activity they can do in the classroom. They can paint it, they can color on it, just kind of group type, not individual artwork things. Finger painting, we'll use gloves when we're helping your kiddos with their artwork. And then we'll definitely encourage music and movement activities, because those are just fun ways to move and play in the classroom. And then this is a new thing that we have. So if your kiddo becomes sick while they're with us or starts exhibiting symptoms of illness, we have what we're calling an isolation room, which sounds a little bit scary. And if you have a better name, let us know. But it's room 110. And so we will, if we think that your kiddo is maybe not feeling well or has become sick during programming, we will take them to that room, take their temperature, sit with them, console them. The room has mats, disinfectant wipes, blankets, all that sort of thing. 2 staff members will stay with your kiddo, and you'll be texted immediately to come get your kiddo. So we do ask, Kristen mentioned that you have your phone on it and you're looking, or you have it near you. So if you get that text, we ask that you come as quickly as you can. And then as soon as your child is picked up, we'll clean the room and disinfect it. So it's kind of keeping us safer than normal. But with all these new rules, we will still absolutely hug your child. We will have fun with your child. We will sing songs, we will read stories, and we will teach your child about Jesus. And that's our passion and that's our purpose. And we're still so excited to do that. So there's still a lot of really, really great, really fun things that we're going to be doing on Sundays. So, Melinda.
Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Kristen. I know y'all have heard a lot already. We have a little bit more, so save up those questions for the breakout time, and we'd love to answer those for you. We know we're throwing a lot at you, but we want to be as prepared as possible, and so we want you to know what we're doing so you'll feel confident as well. So the communication that we're going to be doing in terms of if there's an exposure or symptom or even a test positive, we want you to know where our plan is, and we do have a plan. So if there's evidence that a child or an adult leader is displaying symptoms or possibly has been around someone that tested positive, we are going to email you immediately. Everyone in the class will be emailed. So we want you to know that. And then the next thing, and if there was a case of a positive COVID test for a leader or a child, the entire ministry will be notified. So that would be the hub and children's ministry as well as preschool. We just want to make sure that everyone's aware. No names will be revealed, but we just want you to know we want to be very transparent and upfront, and we just want to communicate well. We'll also call everyone in that class where that might have taken place. So, if there are any symptoms or anything, please contact us and let us know. I'm sure you've seen this list before. It's quite exhaustive, but if your child or one of our leaders is exhibiting any of these, please let us know. But these are some of those. And then, as Brianna mentioned, if someone shows symptoms while they're at church, we will take the child to, yes, it's called the isolation room. That's the CDC's name for it. So but they won't be isolated. There will be 2 adults, like Brianna said, but we will take them in there and separate them from the rest of the class and call you or text you and have you come pick up your child as soon as possible. And y'all are great about that, so we know that that won't be a problem. What additional steps we'll take? So not only are we cleaning and DTK is cleaning, if there were a test positive, we will have a deep cleaning, and it's so thorough. The school has experienced this, and so they've become quite professional at this. So DTK will come in and do a deep cleaning. So if you can think back of all the things we've said, there are several layers, starting with the microbial disinfectant along with these other methods that we have. So if anyone's showing symptoms or has been around someone that they found out that was test positive, we will go in that room and that will be done. And we'll definitely keep you updated as to what transpires from that person.